Whoa! It's 11:30 here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and 8:30 somewhere out west, San Francisco, I believe. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Thursday, May 9th, the early morning edition today, with your host, me, Ray, and that good-looking young man, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
I'm doing well. Happy Thursday, everyone. Pops, thanks for joining me 30 minutes early. Today's show brought to you by us, CarEdge.com. If we can help you buy a car, check out our car buying service. Use the car search, our car buying tools, the sell widget, the warranties and protection, everything you need back at CarEdge.com. And use the community forum. It is free and it is awesome. CarEdge.com/community. Car prices have crashed 59%. Have you heard the news, Pops? Time out. And what's the timeout for?
Where? Where? Is there like one zip code? Where?
Used car prices continue historic plunge. Wholesale prices gave up 59% of crazy pandemic spike. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week, I think on Monday, when we were talking about Carvana defying gravity and being able to have incredible earnings. Well, Dad, wholesale used car prices have given up 59% of their gains that were made during the pandemic when used car prices went to the moon.
Yeah.
We're reverting back to normal. We'll dig into more of the numbers here in a second, but the latest data that we got from Manheim showed another 2.3% decline in wholesale used car prices month over month. We are seeing used car prices return to some semblance of normalcy.
We're seeing used car prices come down from their historically high levels that were reached during the COVID pandemic. Have they returned to some sense of normalcy? Not if you check with the American public out there. They will suggest anything but. However, having said that, pricing is better today than it was yesterday or 2 weeks ago or 12 months ago or 18 months ago.
From February 2020 through January 2022, how much do you think auction prices for used cars went up?
52%.
64%. That was $9,252.
Yes.
Since then, Dad, auction prices have given up 59% of that gain, $5,423. So you do have prices coming back down from, as you were describing, when there was the chip shortage and used car prices were just going through the roof. And adding on to that now, and we'll be talking about this today, especially with Nissan, you have new car prices coming down significantly, which is putting even more pressure on used car prices.
Well, and as new car prices come down, in order to keep the spread great enough for somebody to consider the used car prices are going to have to come down. It's just, one follows the other. It doesn't work any other way. You can't, it's going to be very difficult for a dealer to get more for a 2 or 3 year old pre-owned vehicle than what someone could buy that brand new vehicle for today. So as new car prices drop, asking prices, transaction prices, retail pricing has to drop on the used car side in order to keep that big enough spread that would entice somebody to consider the used car.
Now, that being said, there is still a shortage of used cars. Look at this chart, man. It goes all the way back. I'll scroll down just a little bit to 2019. Okay.
Wow.
Used car inventory. This is the amount of used cars at dealer or on dealer lots. Used to be about 3 million cars, and it's at 2.2.
Yes.
So we still have a shortage. That being said, we are not seeing particularly strong trade-in values right now. Like we help people every single day sell their vehicles, and the trade-in values are not particularly strong. And it's, I think, primarily because the wholesale market is, I don't want to say in shambles, but like the floor has fallen out for EVs, and the floor, I think, is wobbly even for internal combustion engine and hybrid vehicles. However, supply and demand, you'd say, okay, but there's still not a lot of supply, so prices maybe should go back up. But you can see here, supply is like low, but maybe it's not too low. I struggle to comprehend.
Well, I think the sad reality is even though supply is low, or lower than what has been normal in the past, even with that, the prices the pressure on pricing is such that they can't ask as much on a retail level as they were able to in the past. And that falls directly into the decline in new car transaction prices. That's so it's a conundrum that normally you don't see. Normally, when there's a shortage of supply and there's still a rather strong demand, pricing goes up. But because the pressure on new car prices is such that it's causing those transaction prices to drop substantially,
Yeah.
it is causing an unusual decline in retail asking prices for pre-owned cars, even though there is a shortage of pre-owned cars.
All right, let's talk about new cars for a minute here. Nissan, with a headline in Automotive News this morning that is mind-boggling. For those of
Yes.
you that don't know, Nissan has an incredibly high days supply of inventory. We talk about days supply on this show all the time. Days
Yes.
supply is an indicator that will tell you how likely you are to be able to negotiate with a dealer. The higher a days supply, the longer it would take them to liquidate their available inventory. The lower a days supply, it's not hard for them to sell those cars. They're selling like hotcakes. Well,
Yes.
Nissan, Dad, we know Nissan has a triple-digit days supply. We can go use the CarEdge car search, and we can see that when we search for Nissan vehicles. They are now getting more lenient with how retailers are able to, their dealers are able to advertise pricing for their vehicles. And this is surprising because Nissan is actually already one of the lowest priced automakers out there. So you have very affordable vehicles, yet they're not selling. And now, I mean, we can break down the news here, but essentially they're it's the Wild West over at Nissan. They just need to sell cars.
They are overpriced, lower priced vehicles, and that is why they're not selling. And that is really an odd thing to say. They're overpriced, lower priced vehicles, and people aren't paying for them. And so, most manufacturers have advertising guidelines for their dealers. Honda, Acura, you're not allowed to advertise the word sale. You're not allowed to use the word invoice. They don't want to see any of that. Nissan controlled some of the advertising as well. And pretty much what they've said is, we give up. It's up. You are authorized as a dealer to advertise prices as low as 15% below invoice, okay, on the Armada, 10% below in 2024's 10% below invoice on just about everything else. Now the problem,
that's insane.
that is insane, but the problem with that is the dealers are paying for it. Nissan isn't paying for it unless they are increasing the amount of dollars they'll pay the dealers for hitting sales objectives that Nissan has set. I didn't see that in the article. Many of the dealers, even though they're not thrilled that they're basically paying for it, they're thrilled to have the opportunity because their floor plan costs are through the roof. And it's like, hey, if somebody is alive and breathing and comes in and says they want to buy a Nissan, it is incumbent upon me as the dealer to not disappoint them and do whatever we need to do to make sure that happens.
All right, so let that sink in. That use it on the Armada up to 15% below invoice.
Below invoice.
Let's do it, man. Let's do a live experiment. I'm on CarEdge.com. Let's go to the car search.
And while you're doing that, may I say that perhaps the real solution to their problem would be if they are encouraging dealers to sell at 15% below invoice, maybe, just maybe, Nissan needs to readjust their invoices 15% downward. Wow, 15% downward, and maybe adjust their MSRPs 15% downward, so that people would just want to come in and buy them anyway because they're priced right to begin with. Just a thought.
We're in Dearborn, Michigan. where there
Okay.
is an 814 days supply of 2024 Nissan Armada Platinums, 434 of them for sale within 500 miles. 24 have sold in the last 45 days. If you're in the market and you want to
Yeah.
get a screaming hot deal,
Go
go to
to
your local
yeah,
Nissan dealer.
go to Dearborn, because
Oh,
first of all, imports aren't as popular in Michigan as they are elsewhere in the country, because I don't know, the big three are headquartered in Michigan. So yeah, you could probably save a poop ton, of money, if you wanted one of those.
that's absurd. And
That is
think
that
about it.
is that is almost CDJR like.
And think about it. What impact is that going to have on the used car market, like we were talking about a moment ago? I mean, it's a boat anchor, right? Like that Armada is just going to depreciate like crazy. Will continue to drive down used car prices.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you are a dealer and you are advertising your new ones, your new Armadas at 15% below invoice, and you have, I don't know, a couple 2 or 3 year old used ones, well, the asking prices on those is either going to be sky high in relation to what someone could buy that new one for at the moment, or they're going to have to readjust their used car asking prices on those Armadas downward in order to keep that sizable enough spread that they can still sell them. Now, here's the sad reality:
Hmm.
they didn't buy or trade those cars at the same time that Nissan said, oh, by the way, you can advertise them at 15% below invoice.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's pretty much all the used cars just dropped 15% in value because the new cars, well, even more than 15% because it's 15% below invoice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is hard to, I mean, it's just a rather unique way for Nissan to say, hey, we're in this together, but right now those vehicles are in your inventory. Be like any other retail business in America. When you have something that people don't want to buy, price it so low that they can't say no. And that's on you. That's on you as the retailer. Perhaps you shouldn't have taken that allocation when we gave it to you. Shame on you for taking it.
So, you mentioned floor plan earlier. This is from the article in Automotive News. Some dealers are welcoming the relaxed advertising rules. Quote, this is from a dealer. We want more flexibility to make better deals and get more traffic into the stores, said a retailer in a major metro market who paid about $80,000 in floor plan interest last month on more than 200 vehicles sitting on his lot. If I can get my floor plan expense down by moving some of these cars, I'll do it, he said. And I will also mention dealers are in my like texting me every day saying, hey, man, we need to sell cars, floor plan, floor plan, floor plan. This from Nissan is just an example of the desperation of what's going on.
What do you think would happen if Nissan ran ads that said, we are adjusting every one of our MSRPs on every car that we have? We're adjusting them by 12.5%. So what used to be $40,000, take 12.5%. That is the new MSRP. Do you think that would attract customers? I think it would.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now the problem would be is the customers would go to the dealers and they would still expect to get more off, even the lowered MSRP. But what are the relaxed rules? They're allowed to advertise these vehicles below invoice. In the past, you couldn't. Okay, so that's the relaxed rules. They're saying you do whatever you need to do to get traffic into your store to relieve yourselves of this inventory, and we're not going to bust your chops for doing it. We're going to encourage you to offer 2024s at 10% below invoice, and 2024 Armadas. We're going to encourage you to advertise those at 15% below invoice. That's how they've relaxed the rules. In the past, you probably weren't even allowed to to advertise the invoice price.
Yeah, exactly. So they've become more lenient in an effort to try and get customers to purchase these vehicles. I want to do another quick experiment. I'm pulling back up that Armada in Dearborn, Michigan. You know what I'm going to do, Dad?
No.
I'm going to run it through CarEdge.com/sell. Oh, And that's a shame. I just got on the other screen, I just got the no instant offers found. Evidently, 2024 Nissan Armada Platinums do not have a huge interest from the network of
Well,
dealers.
you know what? Do like do like a 2022 or 2023, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
let's do that.
let's do a used one. See if you can find a used one, and then run what the offer would be on a used one, so we can get a better sense of how much these things, how quickly these things depreciate.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Here we go. We've got a 2023 right here, and it's got 7,000 miles on it. Bear with me for 1 second, folks.
We're not going anywhere. We will give you all the time you need, young man.
Alrighty. There we go. 2023 Nissan Armada. So let's go through it. Clean title. Sure, we own it. Sure. Use CarEdge.com/sell, folks, if you're in the market to sell a vehicle or you're going to trade in a vehicle and you want some leverage at the dealership. Get multiple offers all in one place. And every once in a while, you can use it like this as a little bit of a research tool.
Yes.
All right, let's see here.
That's what we try to provide, the necessary tools that you can do the research you need to do.
$55,745. Let's see if we can see the original price history on this when it was new. No, we don't have the original price when it was new, but we know the other one we were looking at was a $75,000 one.
Yes.
Let's see here real quick. Yeah, even used vehicle supply, there's 135.
Well, it just says, there's not much of a market for the Armada.
All right, drum roll, please. Highest offer on a 2023 Nissan Armada Platinum that has a $55,000 selling price.
$28,750.
Significantly higher, $42,400.
Wow. I'd be buying the used one.
I'd be buying the used one too.
Yeah.
Used, because the new one, 15% off. I don't know, man. That's just not sitting pretty with me. Can't make that. Can't rationalize that one in my head. Dad, you mind if we come here to the chat for a couple minutes?
No, absolutely. I don't mind at all.
We've got from KR Watchman. Hey, I just want to say thank you for the free email templates. I used the car lease email template. Got a great deal at Hyundai Round Rock, Texas. 2024 Hyundai Palisade SEL all-wheel drive 8-seater. I want to remind everyone, back on CarEdge.com, we do have all sorts of free resources like the email templates and so much more. When you're on CarEdge.com, go to resources up here in the top right. Pretty much everything is up there. So I really encourage you to check that out. And if you're disinterested in doing it yourself, use our car buying service. We are helping hundreds of people every single month, and we'd be thrilled to help you. From JT Hovey, just bought a 2024 RAV4 hybrid for $500 off MSRP. Plus, they gave me $3,000 over book value on my trade-in. Your website helped me save thousands. Keep it up, guys. That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah, no, that is. And we're trying to keep it up.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's help Jimmy P really quick. I want to buy a truck. Should I wait for Memorial Day weekend?
Well, you'll get better hot dogs on Memorial Day weekend, or maybe you can also get a hamburger. Listen, are dealers going to have sales on Memorial Day weekend? Absolutely, they are. That was usually one of the biggest weekends at our dealerships that I ran that we ever had. It's like the unofficial start of summer. Everybody goes out and runs specials. So do I think that there could be additional savings come Memorial Day weekend? Especially if, sales are a tad bit sluggish during the first 3 weeks of May. Yeah, then I think the last week of May, they'll be doing whatever they need to do in order to improve the numbers.
+1 to that. All right, Pops, do you mind hitting us with a quick ad lib?
Really? You gotta be kidding me.
You're going to love this one, man. We talk about Hertz on this channel from time to time.
We have?
Yeah. Hertz made a customer pay $277 for gas in his Tesla rental.
Ooh, buddy. I hope they sent him like I don't know, 135 2-gallon cans of gas. I hope they delivered that to his house.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
I mean, Dad, did I ever show you this Toyota BZ4X OTD worksheet? I posted it over on X. Did I ever show you this one?
I think you did.
Wrong? Yeah. You've got the lifetime oils for $999 on that
Yeah,
Toyota
yeah.
BZ4X electric. I mean, growing pains, I guess, as there's more and more EVs out there, but Hertz charging which is an absurd number, I will say. To charge that much for gasoline, I feel like is absurd.
Well,
$277.
that's because they had to fill up the whole frunk. Apparently that takes a lot of gas to fill up, because they had no place else to put it. I mean, what does the article say? You didn't share that with me, but that's hard. Is the guy taking them to court to get that fee reversed?
He is fighting them. That's for damn. Sure. I mean, it makes no sense.
No, yeah, and I wouldn't think it would have to be that much of a fight. I would think you would just take a copy of your rental.
This is the same rental car company that had people get pulled
arrested
over by cops.
Yeah. But I would think you would take a picture of the rental car agreement. You would take a picture of the final bill where it shows $277 for gas, and you would email both of those to the CEO and say, really? What the hell are you doing? What kind of company are you running here? Did you want me to share this with every TV and radio network out there? Did you want me to post this on the internet? Or I don't know, did you might want to handle it now? Get it taken care of? I mean...
You want one more?
There is, may I say one thing? There is no shortage of stupidity here in America. So, and yes, I'll take one more.
Affordability to affect new vehicle purchases, study says.
They had to do a study for that. Why don't they just call us?
Yeah, call us.
Yeah, call. We'll tell you. We see it every day. We're helping people every day. What's the big complaint for? I can't afford the damn car. But maybe we can get a grant. Maybe, I don't know, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 grant to do a study to let you know that affordability is an issue. It is just so sad. Okay, it is absolutely so sad how much money gets wasted in this country to run studies and surveys for the answer that prior to doing the study or the survey. I don't know. When has affordability ever impacted anything anybody wanted to buy? Forever? The first cave that somebody sold, the first customer that looked at it said, I can't afford that much.
Did you just say the first cave?
Yeah. They, the first customer that did the walkthrough said, I can't afford that much for a cave. Affordability's always been an issue. Why did Marie Antoinette say, let them eat cake? I don't know, because the country couldn't afford anything to eat. Let's get the government to fork over $200,000 to fund that study. Yeah, buddy.
There you go, folks. Yeah. There you go. All right, quick show today. I apologize. We started 30 minutes early, but we really, really, really appreciate everyone that has joined us here today. And obviously those of you that listen to the podcast. I'm at another kind of leadership training program. One of these days, I'll actually be a good leader with all this practice, all this training. If we can help you though, folks, CarEdge.com. We'll be back at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about the auto industry, and hopefully we'll help a few folks out. Dad, thank you for accommodating my schedule. Thank you, everyone, for being here to accommodate my schedule. I'm really glad we were able to do this.
Absolutely. I had a great deal of fun. I hope you did too. Go grab yourself something to eat and get on with the rest of your day, young man.
Love you, Dad. Thank you, guys.
Love you too, handsome. See you all back here tomorrow.